Hey guys, welcome into the Sportscast brought to you by the Outspoken Network. You got your host on, Brian and Craig. Craig, brother man, how's it been?
How you doing, sir?
Doing good, hanging in there. Glad to have a weekend off. It's gonna be fantastic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Finally. All right, guys. Well, should be on here in a little bit. We're gonna talk about obviously the games coming up on this Sunday, big AFC and NFC Championship games. We'll go over some head coaching moves, and we're on the Luka Doncic ticker as he's put up 66 points tonight. So, what a great game by him! And there's been an uptick in scoring this week in the NBA. But as we all know, the big focus is the championship games. You got, excuse me, you got the Chiefs and the Ravens, 2 o'clock game. I figured this would be the late game. The 2 o'clock game. Who do you got, Craig? Why do you got him? And who do you think is going to the Super Bowl from the
I
AFC?
just don't think the Ravens have enough offense. I could be wrong, but again, until he proves me wrong, I cannot bet against the best player on the field. And I mean, I understand that he didn't make the field goal, go 90 yards to the right in Buffalo, and probably didn't win that game for him. But I mean, he puts up 27 against what probably was the best defense in football this year in the Ravens, and there he is.
What's going on?
And I can't bet against Mahomes. So until he proves me wrong, and I'm not a big Lamar fan. I've never made that a secret. That I just think he's one dimensional, and if you can stop him from running, that's what Houston didn't do in the second half, was stop him from using his legs, and that opened everything else up. So I think if you keep him contained and make him throw the football, then away he goes.
Sorry, my mic was muted. All right, I was looking to see if Casey had played the Ravens this year, and they did not play the Ravens this year. So
They didn't?
they will be their first matchup this season, or first matchup of the season. I just looked, I couldn't find it. I was like,
Maybe last year, maybe.
that's kind of weird.
Well, they're not in the same division, so I
Yeah,
mean,
facing a different conference. Jeff, good of you to join us, sir.
A
Chiefs
little
and
late.
Ravens game. Who do you got moving on to the Super Bowl there in the AFC?
The Ravens are good, man. They're just on another level. I think I'm going to go with the Ravens. I just think that I don't know. They're a complete team, it seems like. But both teams are pretty evenly matched, especially defensively. They're both really good teams. I think it's going to come down to it's going to be a close one, but I think it's the Ravens this year.
Well, it's funny because me and Craig we went against Patrick Mahomes last year and it bit us in the butt. But I'm going against them again. I got the Ravens winning this game. I think this defense is absolutely smothering. They smothered CJ Stroud last week. They weren't able to run the ball at all, and CJ Stroud couldn't get the ball into wide receivers because they were not open. We've known about the Chiefs' struggles this year on offense. We know about their struggles with their wide receivers. I just feel like this defense is going to be too much. Now, Lamar Jackson's also. I'm not a big fan, just like Craig. He's played a little bit better this year. They finally gave him some decent weapons. It's going to be that's the matchup I'm looking out for because the first half against the Houston Texas games, Lamar Jackson was not great, and they really turned it on in the second half. Now, I just feel like this might be the best defense he's faced this year in Kansas City. This Kansas City defense is dang good. Mahomes in the playoffs. It's going to be on the road, but I got a 3-point victory for the Ravens moving on to the Super Bowl. I feel like, and I know it's just me. I can't stand the Chiefs. I'm tired of them winning every year. I'm tired of Mahomes whining about not getting calls, even they get calls left and right. Um, so, and I'm tired of Taylor Swift. I think we're all rooting for her not to be there at the Super Bowl. I don't know about you guys, but definitely not. We got Ryan Sims on, says Lamar will choke in the playoffs. He always does. He will get thrown in the Dak and Kirk category. Good, but not great in games that matter. And that could be true. Like I said last week, Ryan, when I was watching the game, I thought the whole first half, here we go again. Lamar can't win the big games. They turn it on the second half. I really think the defense is carrying this Baltimore team like they do most of the time. He says Kansas City by 10. And it could be true. I mean, I could see a path where both teams win this game. I think it's going to be a really good game. And like I said, give me the Ravens kicker last second field goal to go on.
I just don't think the weather affects Kansas City like it did anybody else because they play in that. I don't think the crowd really affects them. I think the experience of Mahomes in the playoffs. I think he's on a mission to prove he can win on the road. I don't know. I just you can't go against the best player in the field, and that's what he is. And I understand he doesn't have a lot of weapons, but Lamar just can't throw. Now they do get their tight end back. They activated their tight end off of injured reserve, and now does that help the offense or does it hinder it since he didn't play? But they do get Andrews. They do get Andrews back, which is a big part of what Lamar. It's a safety blanket for him when
it's huge. It's huge.
Guys, and he blocks for the running game and he blocks for Lamar to be able to run. But I don't know. I can't root for the Ravens. I've never been able to, and I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Andy Reid is able to
I agree with this.
To stop Lamar.
I agree with this 110% right here. Lamar's not the MVP of the regular season. His team was. The best quarterback in the regular season was Dak, and the defense let him down. And I mean, numbers wise, he beats Lamar in every category except rushing.
Lamar Jackson's not the MVP. Dak Prescott's not the MVP. There's no clear-cut quarterback. I think it would be the year that a random, the wide receiver that's almost a 2,000 yards or something like that wins it. Maybe I'm being a little. Maybe
where did he go in the playoffs?
Maybe I'm throwing a little. Well, we're not counting playoffs. MVP is only in the regular season.
Okay, well then you definitely can't. 12 wins for Dak Prescott and all the numbers. I mean, if we're throwing the playoff game that he supposedly choked out.
I'm not throwing the playoff game in there. I didn't say playoff.
I'm just saying.
But I mean, he's been 12-5 the last 3 years, and
yeah, he's never had a losing season. The only season they were losing was the year that he broke his ankle.
Anyways, let's not get on that conversations.
Just saying.
All right, let's move on to the second game. We got the Lions and the 49ers. And I think we could all, especially me and Craig and probably Ryan want the Lions to win. We both hate the 49ers. It's a team that we can't beat in the playoffs, whether it be Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love, even though we should have won that game. Brock Purdy was terrible in that game. I'm just not sure they win. If Brock Purdy plays the way they did against us, they don't win this football game. The Detroit Lions have a better defense than we do. Their offense, I don't know if the offense is probably better than we do. They got more sustained rushing attack. I'm not sure, though. I just feel like the 49ers probably win this football game. I don't want them to. I think the Lions defense is better, but I 49ers win this game, even though everything says for me to pick the Lions, in my opinion. But
I'm gonna pick the Lions. It's the team I want to go there. I'm not gonna put all my bags in the Purdy basket here, but
Purdy's
Just Debo is considered. I think they just announced that he's going to be in the game.
Yeah, they removed
Whether or
him from the
not
injury
that's
report. So
whether or not that's a factor or not, I don't know. But
well, I think it's a huge factor. I
it
don't think the
is. But
49ers have a chance without Debo Samuel.
right, they don't have a chance. But then what is he? 50%, 60%,
Well, that's the thing.
70?
They say it was 50-50 to play, but then didn't put him on the injury report. So I'm a little confused about that. Because
Yeah,
all it was a concussion. It wasn't like a tissue injury. It wasn't like something that he had to, if he's clear the concussion protocol, then he should be 100%. So I'm not real sure why they say he's
exactly.
50 or 60%. Unless
Due to
there's something
that,
else
due
going.
to go ahead.
it's obvious without Debo that the offense is different.
Right.
Oh,
Oh no,
absolutely.
yeah, it
That's a
is
huge
night and
weapon
day. I mean,
missing.
that's his dude. And the thing is I look at it like it's not a for sure thing in terms of what percentage she's going to be. I think that yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Lions are hungry. This is an underdog type of team. They've been an underdog from the get go. I think this is one of those years where we're just like, what the heck happened? They just managed to just get in and go and go far. It kind of, oddly enough, it kind of reminds me of maybe when Rodgers won his first, or his
Yeah,
only.
a couple really good
Um,
draws.
Right, yeah, and
They
it just out of nowhere, it was like, "What is this?" How'd this happen? And it just did. Um, Not to say that, I'm sitting here saying the Lions are gonna win the whole thing or anything like that, but it's similar to me of teams that will come out of nowhere, no one's watching them, no one's giving them any benefit of the doubt, and they're actually really good, and they're playing well at the right time, especially this time of the season, and it's just they're on another level. They're on a we're not even supposed to be here, so because of that, we're just gonna do whatever we want.
You're
And
yeah,
playing.
they're
We
playing with
called it
house
with
money.
Green. We played with Green Bay when they made the playoffs. We were the hottest team going into the playoffs to finish the season. We have nothing to lose. All the
exactly.
pressure's on the Cowboys, and we won. All the pressure was
Yeah.
on the 49ers, and we should have won that game the way we played, but they
But
ended up
I
winning.
I
But it's the same thing over there. They were 12-5. The Lions this year won our division, but it's okay. Well, we haven't seen them play in the playoffs. We haven't seen the Lions win in a long, long time, and here
yeah.
they are. They won 2 playoff games, um,
Oops.
and we're looking at going to the Super Bowl. Now, I'm hoping they do. But it's interesting too in this because if the Lions if it's the Lions and Ravens in the Super Bowl, Ravens mud stomped them the
Yeah,
first time they play each other.
Right,
And
they
right.
if
do not match up well against
it's the
that.
Lions and Kansas City, then it's the they played each other to open the season, very first game of the season, and they would be playing each other to finish the season. Would be
Yeah, and they
kind of an
went into
interesting
Kansas
thing there.
City one.
Yeah, they went into Kansas City and
Right.
won.
So I look at it like this. I just think that it's the 49ers didn't look too great even without Debo Samuel, and even with him, I don't think they looked very good. Brock Purdy looked average, which is really interesting in that last game. He didn't look great either. It's
It was
just
it was terrible that
it's
game.
just to me um I just think the Lions are on a different level right now, even with the 49ers, even with Debo Samuel. And I think with Debo Samuel, they still have a chance to win. But if he's 50%, that's even more of a coin flip because at any point, he could get hurt, or maybe if the wrong landing the wrong way, something, and then another concussion, he's out of the game. So it's iffy. I think it's just the Lions. They're not going away, and they're kind of being a pesky little team, and I think they're going to continue to be that way.
All right, guys. Well, Ryan, yes, we'll talk about. I want to talk about the Packers interviewing Staley. Yes, we'll talk. We're gonna get into coaching right now, and um, the biggest coaching change of the season has been obviously Harbaugh to the San Diego Chargers. San Diego Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers. I always call them San Diego. That's been the biggest one of the season so far. He's gonna bring over his defensive coach from Michigan, looking to change his culture.
Yeah.
Um, Craig, this is your guy leaving your team. You think he could change the culture because the Chargers have always been that team that's been pretty good but never good enough.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been the hard-nosed football coach. He took the 49ers and completely turned them around, and they went to the Super Bowl, and I don't know, maybe should have won the Super Bowl the year they went, and then they went either back to the NFC Championship, I think, the next year. But Harbaugh is one of those that is better in college because of his in-your-face way of coaching. It doesn't work with the guys when they make millions of dollars. It works with guys who make no money. Well, they make money now, but I mean, it works with young kids who are more influenced by that type of leadership. It just doesn't seem to transfer to the NFL for a long period of time. He's good for a couple years, and then he starts to really wear on guys, and guys are like, that guy's not playing for that guy, and he gets run out of town quickly. So I think it works in the front, but I don't think it's I don't think 10 years from now Jim Harbaugh is the coach of the Chargers. I think he goes in, wins, and gets his way out, and then finds his way back to where he can to go back to the college ranks. I honestly think he's just the sanctions that are coming. He doesn't want to deal with it, and he thinks he's going to be suspended, and so they can't.
He pulled a Pete Carroll.
Pulled Carroll,
he's
going to go, and I think that's best for Michigan, and I think it's best for, Harbaugh, and I think it works for everybody.
I thought that already happened.
Yeah, they're not done yet, though. They just don't. They can't let it go. I don't know why. They suspended him for the 4 games and let him.
So that's all that was a suspension, and that was it.
Well,
and
Michigan
they're still investigating it.
Yeah, Michigan did that. The school did.
That wasn't the NCAA.
It wasn't the NCAA. The school did it to try to make the NCAA go away, and that was a school imposed, deal,
Okay.
and so I think the NCAA is still looking and may try to come down, and I think they found. They're saying they found, because originally the original game he was suspended was for buying the burgers or whatever, and buying lunch, the improper. You can pay them millions of dollars in NIL, but you can't buy them lunch. The whole thing's
that's strange.
It is. It's loopholes, and they all do it. I mean, Colorado said it came out today that Deion Sanders in Colorado has 11 infractions already. I mean, it's the whole thing now. You can buy them this, but you can't buy them that. You can do this, but you can't do that. And so these guys are just going. They're saying Ohio State's doing the same thing with sign stealing. The whole thing is become. This guy's looking at this guy, and that guy's looking at that guy, and you're just going to see coaches that don't last. The coaching in the college that lasts for years and years and years. That time frame is gone. It just isn't going to be the same anymore.
So like the Nick Sabans, basically.
Yeah. You're not going to see Sabans and Les Miles and all these guys that coach for years and years and years. You're just not going to see it.
Crazy.
You're going to go. They're going to win, and they're going to go and deal, because the players aren't going to stay around. You're not going to build dynasties.
They're all free agents at the end of each year now.
Yeah, because they can make as much money. Transfer portal. I mean, it's not going to. How Michigan was good for 3 years. I mean, they only lost 1 game the entire time JJ McCarthy was the quarterback. That's unheard of because they don't stay around.
That's crazy.
Ryan says John should take an NFC job. I mean, the NFC is a lot easier when you have all these quarterbacks and Lamar, Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert, Allen all over there. NFC is wide open. That is real true. And I was thinking the other day, Josh Allen needs to go to NFC team. He ain't gonna ever beat Patrick Mahomes. He might as well just jump on over and beat some other quarterbacks. But back to the coaching here. who's Washington looking at, Craig? I heard something on 105 through the fan.
Michigan,
That-
they basically, it's done. It's a done deal that the offensive coordinator Ben Johnson from the Lions is going to be the next head coach of the Washington.
Oh, okay, they're just waiting for him.
But they
to-
just
to-
can't.
to
They
lose.
can't officially announce it until Detroit's eliminated.
I heard that's bad
from
news.
what
I
I
heard he was
read.
pretty good. The 105.3 was talking about that's
I mean,
bad news
if you
for
look
us.
at if you look at the Detroit offense this year, you can't complain. I mean, the numbers that Jared Goff has had, and he's been good for the wide receiving core. He loves tight ends, I mean, so
Laporta's a beast.
Laporta's a beast, and then they had Hawkinson. That was a good, I mean, this guy's been ever since he's come over there. He's had success in the offense. They put up 30 a game, but Washington's going to have to grab the quarterback to do it.
The Atlanta Falcons go with Raheem Morris after we automatically thought it was a shoe-in for Bill Belichick.
Belichick, yeah.
Two
I think Belichick
interviews.
wanted too much money.
I think he wanted too much control, and I don't think they were willing to
too.
give it to him. And also, is his way of coaching kind of out? I'm going to scream you
so.
and bite your head off type of coaching.
And that's what I'm afraid
is
with
kind of
Harbaugh.
out. Yeah. They don't. I don't know. You have to do that. You have to be able to have this. I wouldn't say skins on the wall because obviously Bill Belichick's the most. I mean, best coach in the NFL history, has the most wins, Super Bowl rings, but he would have to come in Atlanta and win it year one. You know what I mean? You got to put this. You got to show him that you can win right there, and then okay, this guy's got something. I think after the last couple of years of him in New England, not the teams weren't great. He had made some bonehead moves last season in the draft with personnel, and we're going, what is this guy doing? Ryan seems to think he's sitting out, but I don't know. I figured Arthur, huh?
I read a deal today that was interesting. That if Reed retires, then he goes to Kansas City.
Reed's not. I don't think Reed retires.
If he wins the Super Bowl, he would. I think.
Yeah. Well, Atlanta is interesting because they've got talent. They just don't have a quarterback. So
yeah,
they've kind of built their team ass backwards. But Carolina,
not the answer.
Yeah. Carolina goes and hires Dave Canales. This guy's gonna be fired by next year. They fire coaches left and right in Carolina. Their team's not good. Brian Callahan over to Tennessee is a new coach. They fired Mike Vrabel. And then Las Vegas sticking with Antonio Pierce. This is interesting. The team fought for Antonio Pierce and said they had their best players going. If you do not hire this guy, you might as well trade me. So he said, all right, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to listen to you, and we're going to hire Antonio Pierce. And I'm interested to see how this works out because the Raiders have been a dumpster fire the last couple of seasons.
I think that's a smart move. He's a good coach. I think that's a smart move.
Well, it's interesting because the players wanted the special teams coach.
Versace.
Rick. And
who was the interim coach?
Well, Pierce was the interim this year.
Okay, okay.
Versace was the same way. They fired a guy and he took over, and they played off the charts for him, and they just thought it was automatically going to be a deal, and then all of a sudden Josh McDaniels comes out of nowhere and takes the job, and they're like, but we like that guy. And they're like, yeah, sorry. Well, he didn't make the same mistake this time.
Well, the Max Crosby, their best defensive player, said, if you don't hire this guy, you might as well trade me. So the owner was like, well, I got to listen to my best player. But there's a lot of problems there in Vegas. They got to figure out who the quarterback is. And Devontae Adams is not happy, and he'll probably be traded to the Jets next season and go on there with it. Luka Doncic, by the way, FYI, finished with 73 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists tonight. Absolute beast. All right, Ryan. Yes, let's talk about it. Ryan wants to talk about the Packers have interviewed Brandon Staley, who got fired from The Chargers. It's just an interview. It's not a hire, Ryan. So let's calm down a little bit. This to me would be a bad hire because if you look at his numbers, they're not great at all. But I will come back with you with this: is sometimes coaches are better coordinators than they are head coaches, and they get over in the head coaching chair, and they can't handle all the stuff that they've got to do. There's a lot of coaches that are better off being offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators than actually being a head coach. Yes, he had the 27th highest defense in the league, which is terrible. But we hired Barry, and he never got a defense over number 18. So Barry's garbage too.
And I don't think the problem in San Diego was ever really the defense. The problem in San Diego was they could never finish a game, and you know, I don't know. It just he kind of lost the whole team. I mean, it wasn't ever like the defense was horrible. I mean, I don't know.
I want Mike Vrabel. That's my wish list.
Oh yeah.
I don't think.
I mean, even Belichick's a defensive minded. There was a deal today that said if Dan Quinn goes to get a head coaching job somewhere or leaves Dallas, that they should hire Belichick and put him in Dallas as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Barry played great in the playoffs with a young team. First of all, our defense is really not that young. It's our offense is young. Second of all, you can't show up for a quarter of the season and tell me that you're a good defensive coordinator. It's been trash all year long, except in the playoffs. All of a sudden, we came together. Barry should have gone last year. He is terrible. He plays soft zone defense. The year before he came, we had the best defense as far as man coverage goes. He comes in and we play soft zone defense. The guy gave up 30 points to the worst offensive team in the league against the Panthers. Terrible. Yeah, he pulled a Dan Quinn, but that's him. Preston Smith's out here trying to guard number one wide receivers. Barry's terrible. And the Bears are interviewing him, and I hope they hire him because he's bad. Bad. Terrible.
Well, the Bears have number one picks. Huh?
Yeah,
they do. Now, the biggest decision the Bears got to make is if they believe in Justin Fields, and I hope they do because he's trash.
yeah.
And I hope they make that mistake.
Let's do all that.
They're going to get their wide receiver in Harrison Jr. in the draft, and then the quarterback ain't going to be able to throw him the ball. And they're going to be like, we screwed up.
I'm not a big Caleb Williams fan. The guy never played well against any of the top tier defenses, and he's making demands of I want stock options and I want to own the team and
that's crazy. I remember hearing about
calm down, hero. Let's go play a game or two before we start making demands of what we're gonna get and everything.
Yeah,
I would say we're far away from that guy as possible.
That's a rumor too. Ryan's been Fields to Atlanta.
I could see it.
Well, yeah,
I could see that too.
There was a thing I was reading right before we went live of the Raiders trading for him and people to work with him. I don't know where he ends up, but I don't think you got to give up the king's ransom for Justin Fields. I think you could get Fields and not even have to give up a 1. I think you maybe give up a 2 that becomes a 1 if he does. A conditional. I just don't think you have to give up the king's ransom like you did for Murray and all these other guys. The 3 number 1s. I just don't think Fields draws that.
No, it hasn't proven it yet. No. But it could be because he's with the Bears, and the Bears are terrible. Now,
he didn't really. He wasn't a light the world on fire in college throwing the football. No. He ran it.
Mm-hmm. And he has electric plays running, but
that's just not the NFL.
Yeah, that's not the NFL. I think.
Well, unless you're Lamar.
I think. I don't know if Caleb Williams goes to the Bears. I don't know. He's supposed to be the next Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, no, I don't.
There's always the next someone.
Yeah.
Until he's there, I think he's gonna get. I don't know. I think his mental's not all that strong.
I mean, I know Patrick didn't light up college,
no.
but Wow. I don't even think that's in the same. I don't think that's the same deal.
Who's the other guy that people were talking about? I'm trying to remember his name now.
I want to say Drake, something.
Penix Jr.
That's
great
it. That's
from
it.
Washington. I think Penix Jr., but he comes with a lot of
Penix
injury
Jr. Yeah, there's
history.
injuries there. Injury history with
Yes,
but
bad injury. Bad injury.
bad
history.
injuries.
Yeah.
Who's
And
the guy
NFL,
from
that's
North
just going to be
Carolina?
more riskier. Oof.
Who's the quarterback from North Carolina that's projected
Yeah,
to be
that's the one.
guy?
Yeah, that's what I was
can't think
saying.
of
I
his
want to
name.
say Drake. I want to say Drake something, but that's
Drake
not.
Maine?
Yeah, something like that.
Yes,
Cat says, "Are y'all trash talking my
yes.
quarterback?"
Well, no, I don't think
in
we were
college,
trash talking.
he said
I
he
think
wasn't
we,
getting light up in college.
Drake Maine. Yeah,
Cat,
yeah, that's it.
Craig
Yeah.
said
And
he
then-
didn't light up college. And we were talking about how Caleb Williams is the supposedly the next Patrick Mahomes, but I just don't know if that's true. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's true at all. But all right,
No,
well, there's
yeah. I mean, since coming to the NFL, he torched everybody. So,
Well, yeah.
yeah.
well,
But
you
no,
also got to look at the.
Is it Andy Reid or Mahomes? Uh-oh. We have another Patriots thing on it.
You also got to look at the team he was dropped in on, the head coach he's dropped in on.
And you got the kid that won the Heisman Trophy that nobody talks about, Jaden Davis from LSU.
Yeah, the guy that won, it should have been Penix Jr. That was so far. That's such a bad pick. Penix Jr.
should have been anybody but the guy who won it. I mean,
terrible. We were both like, who?
And then don't forget
what?
Bo Nix from Oregon, who they just talked about for 3
Going to
years, and
Denver.
then all of a sudden,
next quarterback in Denver.
Bo Nix.
I hear y'all like him.
Yeah.
Bo Nix he's been consistently.
I've heard good things about him.
Bo Nix can throw he throw a football, and he make every throw.
Russell Wilson won't be your quarterback next season. There,
no, I'm not. No, I don't think so.
Jeff said, "Thank God for that."
Yeah,
absolute terrible.
It'll be Dak.
Pete Carroll
No.
is looking like a genius.
Dak will get traded for a pick.
Traded for a pick. Ryan seems to think that the LSU quarterback's really good. He said they had the number 1 ranked offense in NCAA history this season and had the 121 defense.
They also had a wide receiver that bet on 8,900 football games and played in half of them. So.
I can't. Yeah, 121st defense. That's when they're.
Did you guys hear?
Huh?
Did you guys hear about the story about a player who's been in college football for like almost 10 years?
There's a guy. He's like 8 years.
His name's Penix Jr.
Oh wait, not. No, it was another guy.
Yeah, it wasn't Penix Jr.
Well, he's been there for. He's been in college for 8 years. He's older than everybody. He played 4 years with another college before he ever went to Washington and played.
I forgot who this guy was, but he was. I don't know, Brian. Was he a defensive player or was he?
I don't remember. It was a nobody. It was not like
it was a nobody. I've never heard of him, but he's still playing college. I'm like, what?
Penix is 25.
Well, he must have gone when he was 12. Man, I
don't know. I'll take Penix Jr. Over a lot of these guys that just worry about his injuries.
Yeah, that's the thing I've heard about him is his injuries are a problem.
Yeah, he had 2 or 3 like season-ending like bad injuries.
Yeah, did he? It was one an ACL.
Out his knees. I mean,
yeah,
ACL.
Yeah, that's a bad one. And you're talking about NFL hits is going to be.
Have you guys watched?
He was hurt in the national championship game, hobbling around, and I was saying they should have taken him out because he was taking a beating in the national championship.
I just watched today the Kelsey documentary.
Oh God,
that was good. No, this is the good Kelsey, not Travis Kelsey. This was his brother Jason Kelsey, who's actually an awesome person.
This isn't Kelsey the Swiftie.
This isn't the annoying one. This is the cool one. But it's going just through his season. Not this season, but the last season when they faced off his brother in the Super Bowl. It's a good watch. Go watch it. Okay. I know. Well, it might not be a good watch for you, Craig or Brian, because he's a Eagles player, but the guy's absolute. Guy is awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah.
What else we want to talk about, guys? What else? We got anything else we want to talk about? Ryan, what else do you want to talk about since you're throwing out topics over here? Well, we didn't talk about this. Where's Dan Quinn going? I don't think he's coming back to Dallas. Is he going to be Seattle's new head coach?
I think he's got to be the leading head. I think he got to be the leading candidate. I mean, he coached there for years and probably tries to restore that defense. And I mean, they know him. And honestly, I mean, I think he's worn his time out in Dallas. I mean, you make some decisions like that in the playoffs and change the whole defense up. And I understand Micah loves him and all that, but I don't
Micah
know.
said he better take me with him.
No, then go. And take CeeDee Lamb with you. I'm just over the.
Oh, you got whole CeeDee Lamb calling out Dak Prescott on the internet.
Yeah, I'm just so tired of all this.
Wait, wasn't that his mom?
It was his mom, but still, it's his brother wants him out. I hate Dallas. I wish he would leave. I want him out too. Yeah, great. Have a good time.
Well, here's the decision y'all got to make.
There's a lot of decisions.
Yeah, there's a ton of decisions.
Is Dak Prescott worth $60 million a year?
No, none of them are.
Ryan, let's answer that.
None of them are.
What was the question?
Is Dak Prescott worth $60 million a year?
Oh,
I mean, Patrick Mahomes isn't worth $60 million a year because you can't put anybody around him until the salary cap goes up. When the salary cap goes up, then if you pay Mahomes $60 million, that's why he has no wide receivers. It's because they're paying him. They're backing up the Brinks truck for the quarterback because it's the
AFC Championship game.
I know. Because the defense didn't go play zone after they played man all year. Like, I mean, you let up 40
to the youngest wide receiver crew in the league.
Yeah,
our NFL playoff team.
But what I'm saying is none of these. I mean, are you going to pay Jordan Love $65 million? They're talking about making Jordan Love the second or third highest pay in the deal.
No, he'll get a deal.
It might work for now because you're paying your wide receivers that you just drafted nothing.
And we still have zero cap space next year. Like zero. We're at zero. I'm like,
and then Dallas is negative 19.
Negative 19.
But yet somehow we're going to pay Micah and Dak. I don't understand.
The Saints are negative 82. God.
Yeah, the math is not mathing.
Jeez.
It's
negative 82.
Yes. I mean,
they owe the NFL.
Yeah. Somehow they have to get under the cap, but yet they're going to pay 3 guys max deals. I'm not. Okay, I guess we have no offensive line and no defense. I mean, you just paid the cornerback. I don't either. It doesn't make sense to me.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know what Dallas is going to do there. I don't know.
Where are you at, Ryan? We're talking Dallas Cowboys football. You're not on there
3 people
anymore.
that you owe.
Yeah, he must have popped off.
Money, and I mean, the way to do this is like Green Bay did. You hit on 47 guys that are in the 5th and 6th round, and they go out and all have great seasons. That's the way you.
There's a lot of Packer fans, and I'm not one of them because I've loved our GM that owe this man an apology. Brian Gutekunst has done nothing but get great picks. He's done steady, great picks, and the last two drafts he's hit phenomenally on.
Everybody's glad Will McClay came back to Dallas. I mean,
everybody wanted Brian Gutekunst out the door. I'm like, the guy's making solid picks, and he really hit this last season.
Oh, tremendously.
Our best wide receiver on the team was a 3rd-round draft pick.
Yeah.
Just great, fantastic. So I'm interested for next year now. I'm ready for next season to be here. But so I have the Ravens and the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Craig, who'd you pick again? You picked Kansas City and the Lions?
We never got to me on the Lions game, but I think the Lions. I want the Lions to win. I think their defense. No quarterback does well for pressure, and I think the Lions defense is very harassing with both ends, with Aiden Hutchinson on the other end, and then the back end of that defense and Gardner Johnson and Branch and those guys, I think they make it very difficult for a young quarterback. Now, in saying that, he's started as many games he started, and they averaged 29.2 points a game. So they somehow find a way to score. And I believe Deebo Samuel being the X factor, and he does so many things. He runs the football. He lines up in the backfield. He can run slants. When that guy gets away from anybody, you're not catching him. But the Lions' kryptonite seems to be the mobile quarterback, and Brock Purdy's not that guy. Brock Purdy wants to throw in the sit in the pocket and throw the ball, and I think the Lions do well against that. And I think the head coach has got those guys so fired up and ready to play for each other, and so I think the Lions win, and I think Kansas City wins, and I think it's a very big matchup of Week 1, and
well,
I can't say,
don't predict it now. Don't predict it right this second.
But I just don't think the Ravens quarterback. Again, it would be very hard in any situation. Mahomes, of the 4 quarterbacks that are left, Mahomes is the best guy on the field. You just don't know if guys will catch the football.
And their wide receivers are going to be smothered.
They are.
So,
right.
The Ravens defense and Lions defense, but he somehow put up 27 against a good Buffalo defense in very adverse weather. So,
And the thing with
well, let's not forget the shanked kick there.
No, yeah, I said he didn't he didn't make the guy miss the kick. So yeah,
right.
Very easily, and Josh Allen, if Josh Allen eats one more Wheatie, there's a guy in the back of the end zone wide open to win the football game, and he throws it at his feet
because he got hit. Like,
how many times? How many preseason predictions that we talk about with the Bills? We're just like, the Bills are Josh Allen. Everybody's gonna be good.
We talked about that last week.
Last year was the Josh Allen revenge
tour. Yeah.
And we said this is the year. I think the Buffalo Bills blow up in the offseason. I think they're looking at.
I think they would have. But I think the way they finished, I think they run it back one more time. I think the best thing. I think the best thing would have been for that to not happen and them not make the thing and get rid of the McDermott and get rid of the Diggs and blow the thing up. And I think they're not going to do that because they finished so strong and the kicker they were one kick away from making the AFC Championship game and
for a guy that talks so much crap and throws fits on the sideline, Diggs doesn't show up.
Yeah, there's rumors of him coming to Dallas, and I hope.
Yeah,
even though the attitude fits, I hope he doesn't come.
Yeah, you want more drama. You want less drama. That's not the guy you want on your team.
No, it's not. Not.
I think.
I mean, geez.
The rumor was I've heard rumors of Russell Wilson to Minnesota and Kirk Cousins going to Pittsburgh, which should be a great pickup for Pittsburgh. Or Kirk Cousins of Denver, which would be a great pickup for Denver. Kirk Cousins is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. Interested to see what happens with him.
I think that goes. I think that goes to Gardner Minshew, but I'm kidding.
I don't know.
He did good for the Colts this season.
Yeah,
is Cousins healthy opening day? I don't think he is.
I'm not sure.
See what I'm saying?
Aaron Rodgers almost came back with that injury in the season.
He did.
That's a bunch of nonsense there.
Achilles did. I thought it was the ACL. It wasn't Achilles.
It's an Achilles, just like Aaron Rodgers.
I think.
I mean, the big question, and this is something I asked my dad. So I called my dad after the Cowboy game, of course, and had to listen to him.
He didn't want to answer.
Jump off a building, and try to talk him out of it. I asked him. I said, "When is Dak's contract option? Is there an option on that? Is he coming towards the end?
He can play this year. He could be the lame duck. They could, if they don't give him an extension, he's good through this year. They're
not giving their coach an extension, so he's a lame duck coach.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
So he's a lame duck coach.
I don't know. 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 I don't know
But usually that doesn't happen with
So you
quarterbacks.
could play
Usually,
with McCarthy and Dak on expiring deals, this year, and he would be a free agent at the end of the season.
Do you think that's it?
no, they don't do that. There's no way.
No.
No?
I think they leave McCarthy like that. I don't think they leave
McCarthy,
Dak
yes.
Prescott like that.
They'll do an extension, and they're going to pay
Yeah.
him. Jerry Jones believes in
They'll
him
pay him. They'll pay him 4 years for $240
because
They'll-
if the Cowboys don't give him an extension, and he goes balls to the wall, and let's say they make an NFC Championship game,
he's going to cost you 70.
his price just went up way more, and then other teams can come after him.
Yeah.
So there's no way they're going to let that happen. They would either sign and trade him.
This is him off. Yeah.
Oh yeah. They would have to either trade him now or give him an extension, and they're going to give him an extension. And their coach won't get an extension, and he'll be playing for his season, his job next season.
That's so weird that they brought him back. I don't understand. I mean, I get that there's maybe some players that want him back.
I see
don't
2
know.
seasons, 12-5, 12-5. Okay, 3 seasons. You're bringing it back. I don't know. I don't think it's going to work. Like, yeah, you're going to go 12-5 again, probably, and you're going to have a good year. But what happens when playoff time comes around?
Well, I mean,
that's always going to be the question mark.
You get 4 or 5 wins a year just from the division.
Yeah, division's
Giants
trash.
are terrible. The
Redskins are terrible.
The Eagles are about to implode.
Yeah, the Eagles are over there grasping at straws.
It looks like Sirianni's keeping his job.
Yeah, but he fired the whole staff again.
Oh yeah,
and Jalen Hurts. Lost the entire locker room.
Speaking of that, not good news for Dallas. They got Vic Fangio as their defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
they're
also talking about Kellen Moore being the offensive coordinator. So
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Ryan texted me and said, not good that the Eagles got Vic Fangio because every time Dak plays a Vic Fangio defense, he's terrible.
So you remember a few years back?
Denver beat the brakes off of them.
Yeah, exactly. It was a few years back, and I think Brian texted me, and he was like, "You guys are destroying the Cowboys." I'm like, "What? Yeah. We're horrible." And then I look at the score, and I'm like, "What?"
I mean,
I'm like, "What's going on here?"
And
it was constant. It was crazy. I was like, "What?"
No, the weather was horrible that day, but still, they harassed out.
The weather was horrible.
That day it was raining, and I believe
weren't we playing in Dallas?
No, I don't think so. I think that game was in Denver. I almost
was.
Yeah. I think it was in Denver too.
Oh, okay.
But you know what that tells me about Dak Prescott? He can't read defenses that well because Vic Fangio's defense is so strong because he confuses the hell out of.
They do, yes. He does a lot of confusion.
I think that's exactly what Green Bay did. I think they went away from what
we saw
they had put on tape all year, and I think they went and zone and confused coverages, and I agree.
But look, here's my point. Dak Prescott's 8 years in?
Yeah.
We know what he is. He's good. He's a good quarterback. He's top 10, top 5 quarterback this season. Probably could be MVP. But in the playoffs, it's not there. And it's almost like the Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had a little more success, obviously, and Aaron Rodgers made the NFC Championship games, but he choked when he choked against the 49ers. I don't know. That's the way I see it. Packer fans might be killing me right now, but
you can't argue that.
You can't argue that. So
it's not something that I can argue with. I mean, it's been 8 years is a long time, and you're on, the biggest team in the NFL by far, his biggest fan base. And I mentioned this last time when Brian and I did the show. I don't think you were here, Craig, but it frustrates me when a lot of people are like, oh, the Cowboys, they should have won the game. They were at home. They have this best home record. I'm like, their home games their away games are home games. They have
100%.
They
for
have
years.
the biggest fan base. It's a home game pretty much on the road.
Yeah,
So it's
go to
just
the
kind of like
Chargers. Go to the LA, and there's more fans in Dallas
exactly.
jerseys than anywhere.
Exactly. So
Because
yeah,
they
it's just
go, they do training camp in California, they do training camp here, they move it around. It's like the rolling road show.
yeah.
100%.
And so I think that now it's just I think the fans should start to, and my dad's starting to kind of come around, thank God. He's starting to understand. He even told me, he's like, actually, you'd be surprised, I actually laughed when we were losing because I just was like shaking my head, just laughing. Because I
Yeah.
just, it
No,
doesn't
I
even
mean,
surprise me anymore.
well,
Um,
no, I mean, and like I said, you go and make decisions that just don't make sense. You play man all year, and then you go and play zone, and not even zone. I mean, there was guys that were wide open within
right.
30 yards. There wasn't a guy defender around him, and
They showed that play. They showed that play the other day, and they zoomed out so far, and there was
yeah.
you couldn't see a Dallas Cowboy in sight. I'm like,
No,
what
that's what I said. I said I
in
got a
the whole world?
65-inch television screen, and there wasn't a Dallas defender in it. It just the guy
Well, in
like
the
the guy catches the ball, and you can see him wins because he's like, I have to be getting hit, and then he's like, oh, there's nobody. Okay, I'll run to the
That
end zone,
call,
and takes it.
touchdown.
Yeah,
that
it just
what I don't understand is why didn't they adjust?
that's what I'm saying.
That's a weird
Okay,
thing. It's like if you
so
notice something's
you
not
try
working, you
that the first
adjust.
2 drives, and it didn't work. They marched right down the field. You didn't make an adjustment the entire second half. You went out and you never stopped them. You never stopped them.
If I'm if
Right.
I'm a if I was a Dallas Cowboy fan, this is the most head scratching loss of your entire
Yeah, because you
existence.
just never did anything to change. You just
You
kept getting hit in the face. I mean, it's like a
you like you
boxer
said, you played man, and then you come out and
all
play
year.
zone like you were scared of our wide receiver core,
Yes.
and then on offense, Lamb and Dak seem like they never played a game
Oh,
together.
Yeah,
yeah.
what was
No, I
that?
don't.
What was going on with that?
What in the
Like,
world is
have they said
going
anything?
on?
Has the
Crazy.
local radio station even said anything about that? Have
They
they
talked
found
about
out
it. They talked
anything? Was
about
there
it for no. They talked about it for a day or two, and then all of a sudden it was, well, are we going to extend CD or what are we going? I mean, it just because they fixed it in the second half to an extent. I mean,
To an
he
ex-
had a better second half, and
And
I
then you
don't
got
know.
him dropping passes
Yeah.
that hits him right in the chest, and then his mom. I don't know. It was the weirdest loss I've seen the Cowboys take, I think, in the history. And I'm going,
Well, and that's why
what is
I think
going
that's why
on?
everybody wanted McCarthy fired. It wasn't that he lost another playoff game. It wasn't that he didn't coach or didn't call the right offensive plays or any. It's that you didn't have your team ready to show up to the biggest game of the season. They
They
didn't
were
show up.
they were already thinking about San Francisco.
Yes, 100%. They were
And then
looking
yes?
that. They
Packers.
were
I
looking to the
think so.
Lions. They were looking
Yep.
to. They just
Yep.
figured all we have to do is walk into the stadium, and the Green Bay Packers are going to fold up and shrivel up and fall down. And when they didn't, by the time they realized they were in a fight, the fight was over.
It was 27 to
It was
27
27
nothing at half. Or
nothing
27 nothing, and then they scored a touchdown.
with a
okay.
minute and a half left in the half, and they went,
My buddy
What just happened?"
Manuel Delgado texted me, who is a 49ers fan, which anyways, he texted me when it was 21 to nothing, and he goes, "Look at the Dallas Cowboys bench, and their heads are hanging
Yep.
low. This game is over."
Well,
Eh,
you take the momentum out. Momentum is a big key in that, and it's like
100%.
you
That's
literally. I mean,
why.
it's like it's a physical game, obviously, more than anything. But that when you
I
take
think
that heart out
I
and the
think that
heart gone, and that fight isn't there, and they look at that score and they're just looking at it, and it's like this Mount Everest that they're just like, this is not going to happen today.
Well, and
When
that's why
you
the Green
see
Bay
that,
coach
it's done.
said, I'm taking the kick, I'm going to win the toss, and I'm going to take the ball, and I'm going to stick it down your throat because anytime Dallas got behind, when they won football games, it's because they jumped out to an early lead, they could pin their ears back and send the sink and rush. They didn't do that.
Right.
And the Green Bay coach says, I'm taking the football, and I'm going to hopefully go down the field and score, and then Dallas can't play from behind. And
Now
he was right.
with Micah Parsons, were they handling him, double teaming him, or were they just a defense just drawing up plays to where he was not rushing? Was he dropping back?
He would drop back sometimes. He would rush others. They moved him around. The thing with Micah Parsons, and it's always been every year he's been in the league, as the season goes on, he is a world beater for their 10 games.
Yeah.
And then all of a
Right.
sudden, the back
He gets
half of the
tired.
season, he gets tired, he gets worn out, and he has no productivity come week 16, week 17, week 18, and the playoff. He has no productivity. If you look at his numbers
Okay.
every year, the last 3 or 4 weeks of the
Mhm.
season, his productivity goes to absolutely nothing. I don't know if it's conditioning. I don't know if it's because over the course of the season he gets nicked up. I don't know what it is, but the last month of the season, Micah Parsons is not a factor. He goes away.
Yeah, he didn't do nothing with Green Bay. I mean, he got 2 holding calls, but other than that, there was nothing that really. Where's Micah Parsons killing Jordan Love or any of that? He wasn't there, and that was my worry. Is okay? This pass rush is going to get to Love because again, how is it going to handle the pressure? And it wasn't there. He handled the
And they
pressure.
haven't been able to stop a run for years. I don't know when the last time the Dallas run defense has been worth anything. It's been the lowest in the league.
Well, they were talking about your Ozzie Smith guy you drafted from Michigan,
Yeah,
and he shows up and he lost all this weight, and they're like,
yeah,
he's too small now.
yeah.
Who made him lose all this weight? He
Well,
was this
because
big
he thought he could
nose
be a
guard,
pass
and
rusher. He thought he could be a pass rusher, and that didn't work. And
yeah.
and
And that's
yeah,
the problem is your defense is too small.
yeah.
Your
Well,
defense,
guys don't want to tackle. There's
you got
nobody on that
safeties playing
defense.
linebackers.
Yeah, there's some
No,
bad tackling on that defense.
nobody on that back end. Diggs is afraid to tackle. Jordan Lewis is afraid to tackle. You know, it just nobody tackles.
Is Gilmore coming back next year?
No, he's a free agent.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
think he comes back. Not with the way Deron Bland played, and you get Diggs back. So I don't think
Bland's
I
been,
don't
been
I
really
don't
good.
think that he comes back. I mean, if he gives them a deal and says he'll sign for less money, maybe, but I don't think so. I don't think Jordan Lewis comes back. I don't think Pollard comes back. I think you're going to see a whole big switch in personnel.
What's crazy for me, if I'm going to say something about the Packers, is we breed offensive linemen and quarterbacks. Our offensive line against the Cowboys, fantastic. Offensive line against the 49ers, this big, huge pass rush, fantastic. And that's what you want to breed right there. We draft these guys, and they turn into studs on an offensive line. And obviously, we do a good job picking quarterbacks because something about it, something about the water in Wisconsin. I don't know what it is, but quarterbacks and offensive linemen, we breed real well. But all right, guys. Well, I think that's gonna be it. It is that time we asked that question, I guess, and we'll start it off with Craig here. Well, Craig, what is in your locker?
Oh, really, absolutely nothing. Gonna finally get a weekend that I don't have to set an alarm for the next 2 days, and um, just watch football and hang out around the house. May run Zach up to. He finally drove the other day and drove further than he's ever driven out to my mom and dad's. So think we'll go up to the little driving school up there and try to work on the parallel parking, so he can maybe work on getting his license. But other than that, not going to do much anything. Just enjoy some time off, and um, that's about it. What about you guys?
Oh, it's me. Um, nothing really. Doing a couple projects and trying to. I think I talked to Brian about it. I'll tell you now, Craig. We're trying to. There's this service or something. It's free but we can plug in the videos, and they can kind of make kind of like viral vertical shorts, I guess, with like captions, and it does it automatically. So it'll basically take the whole video and then break it up into chunks and segments, and then we can put our actual cameras in place and everything. So I'm messing around with that a little bit. I'll probably do that after we do this one, and so that's pretty cool. That was fascinating. I think I did like a small test or something like that yesterday, and so it came out pretty good. So I'm gonna try it with this one too. Other than that, looking forward to definitely watch the Lions game. I think that's an interesting game to watch. I think the Baltimore game is at 1 or so, 2 1 my time. So but yeah, it'll be interesting, but the Lions one I'm really interested in. Because I want to see them kind of go. It's been crazy. I was just at a Mexican food restaurant, and they had a Barry Sanders jersey up there. So I was like, perfect. So yeah, other than that, just chilling out and kind of a low key weekend, I guess. What's going on with you, Brian?
As Craig mentioned, we had a weekend off with no work for the first time in a long time, and it feels fantastic to have a couple days off here as we get ready for next week. I'm just gonna be watching some football. Honestly, this weekend, relaxing. I got some things to put together in the garage. I need to test my smoker and make sure it's not broken. Um, Something to look forward to. Me and my other buddy Caleb want to start a podcast, and we're gonna start a podcast on just life in general, different things, not sports related, but just being fathers and husbands or whatever. And we're gonna start that up sometime, probably next month. I'm gonna have different guests, different of my friends on. You might see Craig and Jeff on there as well to talk about different things other than sports. We're gonna call it the Dad Bod Podcast. So look forward to hearing that. But other than that, I gotta go wrestle some kiddos and make sure they're gonna be going to bed and watch some football this weekend. So I think we all pretty much we ain't sounds like we ain't got much going on, but sometimes that's the best weekend when you're just relaxing. So
Yeah.
I thought it was cool too. They announced that Joe Montana and Barry Sanders. He said something about Barry Sanders. They're going to make
yes.
Sanders and Montana the captains for the game, and
Oh, that's
so,
pretty sweet.
yeah, they get to go out there and do the coin toss and all that stuff. So, that'll be interesting from both the franchise standpoint of putting those guys out there to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
don't know if I think I said this last time, but I'll tell Craig because he's a baseball fan. This is a Japanese baseball team. So they sell at they're the Tigers or the somewhere over here. It's the Tigers, but yeah, they sell at Lids, I think.
Yeah,
They're starting to sell Japanese uh baseball
that-
team
that's
hat.
crazy. I just saw that. Speaking of the Japanese baseball, that um, the second baseman from the Rangers that punched the guy from the Blue Jays just signed with the Japanese Giants over there.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
Um,
they have their hat
Rugni
too, which is
Odor.
interesting.
yeah, Odor just signed with the Japanese Giant team, and so he's going to play over there in that league.
But I thought that was cool that you can find
Yeah,
those
no,
now,
yeah.
which is pretty crazy. I want to get some AAA teams too. But
But I think those hats are. I wish the major league hats would look like the with the logo and the airplane and
oh yeah,
they
yeah,
had
yeah.
different deals. There's one in Pennsylvania that was really cool that I wanted. And there's the Detroit's got. My dad has a minor league hat from them. Those hats, I got one of the ones from the Rangers, from Round Rock down there. That is the Round Rock Express or whatever with the train
Oh
on it.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I love those. I think the logos on them are just so much, so much better. And it's crazy.
That's awesome. All right, Brian.
All right, guys. Enjoy your weekend. We'll be back on next Friday night to talk about the Super Bowl matchup, any changes in sports that's happened over the last week. God bless, and remember,
Keep it
outspoken.